Now, I used to have panic attacks on a regular basis for over a period of 7 years. And how did I deal with them? Well, not very well, to be honest. Now, there are plenty of tips online on what to do when you're actually having a panic attack, such as breathing and so on. But I'm not going to speak about that. But just to give you a bit of a background about what I used to do, mainly my panic attacks would be in the evening, at night, when I was on my own. I would feel them sort of coming on, maybe when I was on my way home, I was on the tube, and I could already feel that nervous feeling in my stomach, and I would try to sort of suppress it. Then I'd go home and then I'd feel like it was escalating. By the time I'd gone to bed, I already started having the panic attack. I used to put the light on, I used to try and think about something else, but there were times when it got really, really bad. And there was a particular person that I used to call sometimes, and he used to sort of make me feel a bit calmer, but I was still in that process of this horrible thing that I was going through. So I didn't really deal with it very well, but I'm going to give you now some tips on how I did eventually deal with the panic attack. So the first point is to decide to live without them. So I'm not going to suggest that you learn to manage panic attacks, because they are horrific things that no one should learn to live with. No one should have to go through such an awful experience. So first, believe that you can actually get rid of them, because sometimes what actually brings on a panic attack is the thought of having one in the first place, and then you get into this vicious cycle. So first thing, very important, decide I'm not going to have these panic attacks anymore. My second point is to rationalize. So this one may be a bit tricky because it involves thinking about what is bringing on your panic attack. So I don't suggest that you do this one in an environment where you are vulnerable. For example, as I said, I used to have panic attacks late at night when I was alone, so that wouldn't have been a good time for me to do this exercise. What would have been good perhaps for me was maybe to think about things early in the morning in a nice bright environment with people around me. So once you have the best time and place, then think about what brings on those panic attacks. Is it a phobia of something? Like in my case, it was a phobia of death. Is it a worry about the future? I spoke recently about getting to the root of issues when I was talking about anxiety. This is so important because you need to attack the issue from the root. My third point is get rid of them. Now, you may need some help on this, on whatever is causing the panic attack needs to be dealt with. So if it's a phobia, get help on how to overcome that phobia. If it's a worry about the future, get help with facing that worry. Now, this step is going to take some soul searching and some bravery on your part and determination. I wasn't able to actually do this part on my own. I went to an amazing place, and from my first visit, I never had a panic attack again. And that's after having them regularly for 7 years. And I've been panic attack free for over 20 years, and they are not coming back. So remember, don't accept, panic attacks to ruin your life. It's time to turn things around and for you to attack.